This is going to be your full ChatGPT guide, a tool that I use every single day. They're always adding new models, new features, so this is kind of everything in 2025 that you need to know about ChatGPT if you're either running a business, if you're doing this for personal projects, but to actually be using this platform to the best of its capability. I'm going to be covering absolutely everything there is to know about this tool. And if you're new to the channel, my name's Elliot. I'm the founder of ManyFlow AI, my AI development company, and I'm here on YouTube teaching you guys everything you need to know about AI. And in the description down below is going to be a link to my free AI Skool community, a great place for my YouTube resources, asking any questions, a community of people who are in this AI space. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out the link in the description down below. And with that said, let's get started. So the first thing that we're gonna go ahead and do is type in ChatGPT. It's gonna be the first link or the second link, same thing. Click on it, and I'm already logged in, but you're gonna have the ability to log in. I do highly recommend logging in because if you're just using this for free without a login, it's quite limited. So you can still make a free account and use this for free, and you'll still have less limitations than being not logged in. So it's free, make the account, and then once you do that, you'll see this screen here. And the first thing you're probably gonna see is Get Plus over here. This is basically showing off their payment plans. So if I go ahead and click on Get Plus, I'm currently on the Plus account, but I just made a whole new account for this video, so that's why it says I don't have it. I will say right now that I do recommend the Plus plan for anybody getting started with ChatGPT. This is probably the one that does everything you'll ever really need. I'm actually going to be switching over to the business plan quite shortly at my company because we'll be able to collaborate on projects, share custom GPTs. This is something that we're going to be doing very soon, but right now I am on the Plus plan. Now, if we were to compare these two plans, the free and the Plus, you'll see that the free, you already have access to the latest model. You have limited file uploads, limited, right? A lot of this stuff is limited. So the Plus expands on all of that. You get expanded messaging and uploads, faster image creation, Sora video generation, project tasks, and custom GPTs. You have access to all that. So again, highly recommend using the Plus. If you go to business, this is really if you're running small to medium-sized business, I'd say. You can share with your team members, recommend that for that. And then the Pro, I don't use the Pro. I don't think it's that much more worth than the Plus plan, but you can see it's quite steep as well, $200 a month. You get GPT-5 with Pro reasoning, unlimited messages and uploads, a lot of unlimited stuff, maximum deep research. I'm going to be covering all of this in this video, by the way, so if you don't understand what some of this is, well, I'm going to be covering most of it. And then all the way at the bottom, there's a ChatGPT Enterprise. This is probably something that you'll never have to deal with. And same with me, I'm not ever going to be really needing AI for enterprise. This is if you're running a massive company, like an enterprise-based company. You can see that there's a bunch of integrations here. If we scroll down, just have a look, right? They're connecting things with Excel, connecting your company data, AI your team is already using. So again, this is something you really don't have to worry about. But there is that option for enterprise. So I've gone ahead and just upgraded to the Plus account right now for my personal. And in this video, I'm mostly just covering everything there is for Plus because it's basically everything you really need is in the Plus plan. So let's get started on actually talking to ChatGPT and seeing what it can actually do for us. So what you're probably familiar with is just asking a basic question, something like, why is the sky blue? Okay, so that's going to give us an answer on why it's blue. Sunlight is made up of many colors, each with different wavelengths. Okay, so this was just a very simple question. I asked it. This was the response. Cool, so now I know why the sky is blue. And you'll notice that now on the left side here, I have a chat. So if I want to start a whole new chat, if I ask a completely unrelated question, something maybe like, what is the top 3 movies of all time? Kind of a subjective question, but we're going to ask that. And here you can see it's searching the web. This is something I was going to cover a little bit later, but it did it for us. When it searches the web, that means it doesn't necessarily know the question directly, and it's going to do a Google search, pull a bunch of data, and then summarize it for us. So it knows it always has data in real time. So if I were to ask about the news, it'll search Google, give me the latest news, and tell me in ChatGPT what the latest news are. So here what it did is, what is the top 3 movies of all time? So it searched to see, okay, what are the top 3 movies of all time according to a bunch of sources, and then here it just summarized everything for me. Shawshank Redemption, The Godfather, cool. And now we have our chats. So if I want to go back to this old chat about the sky, I could just click over here, and I can keep track of all of my chats. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new chat, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT to actually generate me an image. This is one of the capabilities that ChatGPT has. I don't recommend ChatGPT for image generation unless it's very specific images you're looking for. I'd recommend Gemini. That's what I use the most for image generation. I think it's the best, but we're going to go ahead and test it out on ChatGPT. Can you generate an image of New York City at night? Now this usually takes maybe around 30 to 30 seconds to a minute to generate. So we'll let that generate, and you'll see once it starts generating an image, we get this square here, it's loading, and we can go ahead and get the image back. So we'll wait for a second. And now it's about to be finishing up. We could see it slowly generating the image. It seems to be almost done. And now it actually created a pretty ultra realistic image of New York. What I can do is actually click on the image itself. I can share it as well. I can like it, I can give feedback, I can download it. But if I click on the image, I have these options up here as well, which were the very similar options to what we had, right? It's the same ones, except this one here. This I can actually select on the image what I want to change. So perhaps I want to maybe remove the Freedom Tower. We remove Freedom Tower. And I was able to give that query to chat, able to select exactly what I wanted to be removed. Now it's going to regenerate that image for me with the updates that I want. So again, we're probably gonna have to wait another 30 seconds to a minute, maybe a little bit less. It's gonna start generating like it is right now. Here it's finishing up as well, regenerating the image for us. And it definitely did not do what I wanted. It added a $sign, which is very strange. That's why I don't recommend you using ChatGPT for image generation. But yeah, I just added a $sign and removed the tower. I did do that correctly, but I'm not sure why it added a $sign. So we're gonna go back to one of our older chats here, and every time ChatGPT generates an image, it actually keeps track of everything. So that is what this library feature does. If I click on library, we can see that this was the image that we've generated. Now we probably want to wait a minute or two. This one's probably going to show up as well, but we have our first image right here in the library. So when you generate a bunch of images through a lot of different chats, it's nice to be like, wait, which chat did I do this again? Maybe if you're in the marketing department, if you're a graphic designer, maybe you're using ChatGPT for inspiration on images, you can easily find all those images that you did generate. And you can just click on it and it'll open back up that chat of where you generated that image, and you can continue to update it there. We also have a search chats feature. I use this all the time to look for older chats. I can actually just search the chat that I'm looking for. Obviously I only have 3 right now, so it's pretty easy to find, but something that if you're having a long thread, a long conversation with ChatGPT, and it was a while ago, well, you could use the search chats to go ahead and find that conversation that you had. I want to go over projects as well. This is something I use all the time for work. Click on projects. We'll have the ability to create a new project, and it's already giving us categories here: investing, homework, writing, health, travel. Maybe, for example, I run an AI development company. I usually do this per client. So if I sign, a new client, I'll do like client A. I'm going to create the project. And now I have everything organized for this project. So every chat that is going to be related to this work, if I need ChatGPT to help me write the proposal, if I need ChatGPT to help me code a certain application for this client, everything is going to be stored. So I'm going to say, for example, let's do create an email thanking the client and that we're getting started on the work immediately. All right, so it's going to generate that email for me, something I could just send them out. Creates that new conversation here, but you'll see that it's under projects now. So every time anything's related to the client, to the project, I just store it in there. Easy way to stay organized. I can click on client A, and I can see all of my conversations here. This was the conversation I just had. So that is when you'd want to use projects. Super powerful. You can build another one if you want. There's some settings here. You could do default, project only. There's little features like that as well. And so far what you've probably noticed is that it just says ChatGPT on the left side here. But if I actually click on this drop down, I have different models that I can use. There's legacy models here, and then there's different variations. So usually I have it on auto because it's using GPT-5 automatically. And this is the pro. I don't see, it says research grade intelligence. I don't ever really use this, to be honest. But I'm on auto. I can do instant and I can do thinking. And I can do the legacy models, which is GPT-4o. This was the model that was out, I think maybe like 4 months ago, I'd say now. Now it's just the default one is GPT-5. So auto is when depending on your query, how complicated it is, if it's a very complex question, it'll automatically go to thinking mode and take a little longer to generate your response. If it's a quick, easy question, like asking about why is the sky blue, that just went to instant because it's very simple. But usually when I'm asking it to code, I will set it to thinking. And I don't really use GPT 4.0 anymore unless I'm using this via API. But talking about APIs and using OpenAI APIs is for a whole other video, so I'm not covering APIs in this video. But yeah, that's when I would use other models. Now, if we go down to the left side here, this is going to be our settings. We click on it. We have being here able to upgrade the plan. Clicking upgrade plan was the same thing as clicking, plus when it was up top here to switch the plan. That's what that does. Orders, this is everything that you've purchased through OpenAI. This is a brand new account, so there wouldn't be anything. I'm sure it's going to say, yeah, no orders yet. Products you buy with ChatGPT will show here. So anything that you want to buy digitally through OpenAI, well, you'll have to be able to keep track of everything there. If we go back here to personalization, we can actually customize ChatGPT a little bit as well. So enable customization, we'll leave that on. Base style and tone. We can change this to be critical and sarcastic, efficient and blunt, thoughtful and supportive, exploratory and enthusiastic. I always just leave this on default, but if you want to play around, you can definitely add a kind of a tone to ChatGPT. Here again, we have custom instructions. If you're only using ChatGPT for a certain thing every single time, I use it for everything, right? ChatGPT at this point is like, it's like my business partner. I ask it to code, I ask it to design things, sometimes image, strategy. So I always don't have this filled out for me personally, but if I'm only using it for always a specific task, you'll want to do something here. But you can give it custom instructions. You can give it a nickname, what it should call you. So I think for me on my work account, I have it call me just my name, Elliot. Your occupation, just giving you some more information about you so that when you do ask questions, if it's like a strategy question, like, hey, how do I get more leads for my business? It already knows exactly what kind of business you're running. It already knows the product that you're selling. That is super powerful, especially when you give it context on things like that. You don't have to re-explain through every single chat, which is what leads me into memory. This is very powerful. If you click on memory, here we'll have nothing because it has no memory. And on the plus, it's limited. On the enterprise or the pro plan, you'll have, I think, unlimited memory is what it said. And to actually add to memory, what you can usually do is, let's start a new chat. We're going to say, my name is Elliot. I am 25 and I live in San Diego. I'm going to say save to memory. And you'll see shortly it's going to say updated and saved memory. So now if I start a whole new chat right here, what do you know about me? You've told me a few things. Your name's Elliot, you're 25, you live in San Diego. ChatGPT now stored that information and has access across all chats who I am. So you can see the potential in this of just having so much information about your business, about your personal life, all these things, so that now you don't have to re-explain it every time. And if we go back to memory down here, we'll go to personalization. If I go ahead and manage memory, I have it right here. Lives in San Diego, is 25 years old, the name is Elliot. And we can go ahead and delete these if we want, remove them, or add on to it. So my actual ChatGPT work account has almost everything I need when I need help with my business, with strategy. It already knows everything about me. So that is honestly probably the most powerful feature that ChatGPT has that I use the most, is that memory feature. Here we can also reference chat history. So let ChatGPT reference recent conversations when responding. This is kind of a temporary memory. It'll just remember the last few chats in case you want to reference those in your new chats. Here we can go to advanced. These are all of the features that we're allowing it to do, like web search, which is what I showed you for the movies. It searched to see the top 3 movies. We're allowing that. Code, allowing ChatGPT to help you with a code interpreter. Canvas, ChatGPT voice, and advanced voice. So if we go here, you'll notice a little button, and you can actually talk to ChatGPT. Now let's see if this actually picks up on my camera if I just increase the volume. So we go here, sneak peek at advanced voice. Okay, let's click continue.
Hey, what's up? Feel free to ask me about anything that's on your mind. I'm ready to go.
So that is the default voice. We can also switch to other voices like these ones.
Hi, glad to meet you.
Hello, it's lovely.
Hey there, I've got a really great feeling.
So we'll start with Juniper, and we'll just chat with her. So we'll do this. Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear. Let me know what's on your mind.
Hey, I'm actually thinking of moving to San Diego in a nicer area. What are the top 3 nicest neighborhoods in San Diego?
San Diego definitely has some really nice neighborhoods and
Hey there. I've got a really great feeling about us teaming up.
that people often rave about. One is La Jolla, which is just beautiful, lots of coastal scenery.
So we can actually talk to ChatGPT, a pretty fun feature. I use it sometimes if my hands are busy. I'll just, talk to it in that sense, but it's just a nice feature to have, and it actually runs pretty smoothly. It responds rather quickly. So if you want to try that out, definitely recommend trying out their voice feature. Now, if we go back to our settings over here, go back to personalization, make sure we covered everything here. We did. Let's just start with general up here. We can change the appearance of ChatGPT. We can make it on dark or light. I usually like to do dark, just it's nicer on the eyes, so I do dark. Auto detect your language, I leave that on there. Spoken language, same thing. And here was the voice that we just played around with. We can get notifications, so it can actually send you emails on certain things. Get notified when ChatGPT responds to requests that take time, like research or image generation. I have that on push. We have tasks, we have our projects, right? Get notified when you receive an email invitation for a shared project, and some recommendations. Okay, we already did personalization. Now if we go to apps and connectors, this is where it gets pretty powerful. You can actually connect apps directly into ChatGPT, so it already has context on like what you're working on. And you can download ChatGPT on desktop. I usually recommend doing this on Mac. I personally prefer using this in the browser, but if we open ChatGPT down here, this will be connected to my work account. You'll notice that we actually have features down here, being able to actually work within your apps on your desktop, like Notion. This is something I use sometimes. I'll be working on Notion and I have ChatGPT being able to see what I'm doing on Notion, so to help me write things like that and helping me organize my Notion or whatever I'm working on. There's also VS Code here we can connect to, Notes, a bunch of apps as well. So that's nice for the desktop version, but I'm just gonna stick to the browser version for now. Here we have data controls. Probably nothing really important there, to be honest. You can archive all your chats. See your archived chats, shared links, and you can export some data. If you go over to security, you can this is just for the security, right? You can log out, multi-factor authentication, whatever you want to use ChatGPT. If you're unable to pass this challenge, you'll have the option to recover your account via email. So that's pretty straightforward. Parental controls, you can add a family member if you want. I don't need to do this. You have your account here, everything that you're subscribed to, what you have, your payment plan. This is for the GPT builder profile. I'm going to cover that next. You can also add your links, custom domain for LinkedIn, GitHub. Yeah, and that's basically everything there is for the settings of ChatGPT. I actually just refreshed my page here and I had GPTs come up over here because it wasn't showing up for some reason. That is the next part of this video is GPTs. So if we actually click on GPTs, these are basically pre-prompted conversations for ChatGPT. So these are the ones that are like on their store. You have one that helps with effortlessly design anything presentation, logos, social media. So it's been prompted to do Canva work. And you have trending, a bunch of these that help you with Skool. I don't really use the public ones. I usually build my own, but you can explore multiple GPTs here, and you could also create your own. So we can just create one very quickly. I'm not going to do a full one, but if you want to create your own GPT, you can configure it. Obviously you tell ChatGPT what you want, it'll auto configure it for you, or you manually configure it right here. You click on configure, you name it, add a description. This is your prompt. These are the instructions. What is this GPT going to be the best used for? So if I actually go to back to my work ChatGPT account, you'll notice if I hover over GPTs, you'll see I have a voice flow trained GPT. This is the one I use like very often. So I use a platform to build AI agents called VoiceFlow, and they have quite a lot of complex steps. So what I did is I trained my own GPT on their documentation. So now when I ask a question about something very specific to VoiceFlow, it'll actually search its knowledge base and give me back the information. So using a quick example, what does the custom action step do? Very VoiceFlow specific. It'll tell me exactly what it is because it looked through its documentation and it tells me exactly what I need to know about that step. So when I'm coding, asking stuff about VoiceFlow, I go to this custom GPT. So going back here, that is how you use custom GPTs. Really powerful tool if you're using it for one specific thing in your business or for your projects. This is Atlas. This is a brand new feature that they just released, I think, last week, to be honest. This is kind of like their own browser agent. So you can connect your apps, you can download the app yourself. And what this does is, if you look at their landing page, it automatically has a chat to whenever you're shopping, and it helps you get everything you need to know, and it's like a built-in tool inside of your browser. So I haven't really played around with this quite yet because it just came out, but you could take a look down here and see how this works and try it out for yourself. You can go ahead and download it. It's a kind of like an AI helper as you're browsing. So going back to ChatGPT, let's go ahead and start a new chat. And I want to cover these options here when you click on the plus. Here we can add photos and files. So ChatGPT not only is able to generate images, it's also able to read images. So if I want to do add photos and files, I'm going to go ahead and upload a screenshot of my face here. And I'm going to say, describe what you see. Okay, image shows a young man with light skin, dark hair, right? It just described the image. It was able to actually read the image. And what you could do is to upload screenshots of maybe homework, some documents, some things like that, and it'll be able to summarize it from there as well. It'll read your contract or whatever you want to use for your specific use case. So I use this all the time when I'm coding and there's problems in my code. I'm running into errors. I don't know how to fix it. I'm going to screenshot my error. I'm going to screenshot what seems to be the issue. I'm going to send that screenshot to ChatGPT, and here it's actually going to help me debug and be like, okay, well, you have a 404 error, so that means you need to try to do this, and you need to do that, and you need to do that. You have a 500 error, and it's very nice to debug my code working with ChatGPT. Going down here again, we have deep research. As you can see on the Plus plan, I only have 25 left. On the Pro plan, I have more. Deep research takes probably, I think, 10 to 15 minutes to run. And this is if you're asking a very specific question and you need research. This will basically scavenge the entire internet and get you back a very long summary of everything that I was able to find. So if you're looking for something specific about research, maybe you're looking into a current event or something that just happened on the news, you're going to ask it about it. It's going to pull as many files and data as possible and give you a really large summary. That is what deep research does. And you don't have an unlimited amount of these. Here is create image, which is what we just did earlier, but you can select create image directly here. Here we have agent mode. Again, we only have 40 left on this. Very similar to the deep research. For example, if I wanted like an itinerary, maybe I'm going on like a trip, and we'll try this out really quickly. It's going to take a while to load as well. But if we do something like, I want to go to Spain for 1 week. I need the best restaurants and hotels and everything I need to do for my 1 week trip. So like I said, it's gonna take a while to load, but it's gonna search all of the internet, get the best hotels, build my itinerary, and see how this looks like when it's complete. Here it says setting up my desktop, so it's getting ready to operate. Here we get this, searching the web, okay, and we can see it in real time what it's actually doing, which is really neat. You kind of get like a video of how it's working. So it looks like kind of a digital agent just doing things for you, clicking on tabs, looking up articles, and then we just kind of just wait for it to cook up. And it tells you kind of like a live translation of what it's actually doing. So right now it's handling dynamic redirection, searching the web. And it does work pretty quickly, but there's just so much going on that it does take a little bit of time. See, these are all the sources it's working on. It's creating a new tab, opening aggregator site for citation. Right, so this is a very powerful feature as well, and that's why you only have a limited amount of usage. But what we can do is actually just let this run in the background, and we can still focus on another task, and then it'll notify me when it is ready. So I can go ahead and just start a new chat. I can go back down to, let me just go give it a refresh. I can go back here. And it's still running, right? This was the chat where I was talking about an image, but then I just sent the image. So let's just go back to our new chat. Now I want to cover this feature here, the canvas. This is really cool when you're coding. So let's just say I need a basic HTML script for a lead form for a real estate company. Make it simple. So it's going to code for me, and it's going to have a preview option. This is what I love about it. So right now it's writing the HTML. It just completed. I'm going to click on preview, and now we can see the lead form that it just coded for me in literally 5 seconds. So what I would originally have to do when you were coding before this feature is I'd go here and do, for example, HTML viewer. I'd click on probably this one. I would grab the code that it provided. So let me just go back. I'd copy it, and then I would just paste it in, and I would see my HTML that way. And now what we can do is actually edit the code as well. It'll open this page here, and I'm going to say, I need the app to have more color. Let me go ahead and close this here. Okay, so it added it down here. Click on preview, and it added a lot more color. and we can go ahead and check the previous version, the next version, we can download it. But this is how people are coding, especially front-end developers, coding apps with AI. Is just kind of vibe coding and using their Canvas feature and have access to these revisions. So now let's go ahead and exit this out. Maybe we start a new chat again. Now you can see all of our chats are stacking up. We can go ahead and click on add sources, and we can connect more apps this way as well. Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Contacts, Box, Dropbox, connect more. You have a bunch of options to connect. And again, as time goes on, they add more and more apps. So these are really powerful when you already have accounts and it already has access to what you're trying to work on. And if you have questions, you don't have to screenshot everything. It already knows what's going on. And that brings us to the study and learn section. It already has predefined recommendations. Help me with my homework. Let's see what happens when I click on this. Before we start, can you tell me a bit more about your subject? I need help with calculus. Calculus, learning derivatives. Okay, let's say we're trying to learn about this. So it already knows that it's in the whole study and learn section. And look, if we already have a use Coursera for this answer, so that if we were to add the app, it'd be a lot more useful. But again, I'm not going to go through a whole thing here. But if you're doing this for homework, use the study and learn, and not just homework. Anything book knowledge related, you can definitely use this feature for that. It basically turns ChatGPT in kind of like a tutor mode. I don't use this a lot because I'm not in school anymore. But if you are in school, absolutely try this tool out. So we can go ahead and go here. Let's see. We have web search. This is already kind of built in. If you're looking for something in real time, let's just do current events. It'll automatically search Google and then give us back a summary of what they found. So I literally just typed in current events, and then here are the current events the latest events. So we're not going to go crazy into the news, but that is what that covers. And now one of the last things that we're going to go ahead and cover in this video is the Codex. If we click on Codex, it's going to open up a new page. It's your software engineering agent. Codex understands your code base, answers questions. Okay, click on continue. Everywhere you work, continue, and done. So this is if you're kind of a developer. This is really when you're building backends. You connect this with your GitHub. You can put it in your terminal, try with VS Code. I don't use this. It's usually my developers when we build solutions for clients. I'll do more of the basic stuff and mapping things out, and then they can go ahead and use this if they want to help them code. This is a rather new feature as well. So if you're a software engineer or developer, this will be super powerful for you. It's already giving us examples of what it can do, right? And this is probably not making sense if you're not a developer, but it's already talking about MCP commands. These are the examples of what Codex can do. So you probably won't have to worry about this if you're just trying to get into ChatGPT. You're not some sort of software developer. But if you do become one, or you are, well, this would be the best tool for you. So before ending this video, we're going to go back and check on our agent to see if it finished. So I just clicked on it, and we can see that it just did. It did our 1-week Spain travel guide, gave us an overview, recommended hotels with links as well. And you can see this is very, very long. Barcelona, top attractions and activities in Barcelona. We get some optional things. In Madrid, what to do. And I'm just going to continue scrolling. It gave me a day 1, day 2 itinerary, day 3, basically the entire week, and a conclusion. So that took about 10 minutes to load, and I have everything I need to know on my trip to Spain. So that just about wraps up today's video. This was kind of a full beginner guide on ChatGPT and how to use it to the best of its capability. Make sure to drop a comment if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them for you, and absolutely recommend you guys getting on that Plus plan to use the majority of these features. So you could start off using the free plan if you want, and then switching over to the Plus if you're actually serious about using ChatGPT and you want to use it every day for your work or your personal projects. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Definitely helps my channel grow, and I will see you all in the next video.